want to tell you what, this is one powerful beast when it comes to making travel videos. But for 2021, how can you make them better? Well, in the old days, I used to carry around a ton of camera gear, big camera bodies, lots of different lenses and backpacks, and what a pain that was. I started with the Galaxy S5, and that was a great camera. It had a few deficiencies in it, most of which was the stabilization issue and the poor quality in low light conditions. Well, I gradually migrated to the S9 and then the S10 Plus with the Samsung, and I have been very, very happy. It has saved me a whole lot of hassle. It's a very low profile way to record videos as opposed to going around like you're something out of 60 Minutes. Big cameras change the scene. Big cameras make people change the way that the way that you wanted to capture them, right? Because all of a sudden their posture, they may stop laughing, may stop enjoying themselves because they're aware there's a big camera around capturing their images. Something to think about. So when you're walking around with your smartphone, your Android, your iPhone, people are used to seeing that these days, and it's not as noteworthy as the big camera gears, and that is a big plus, a huge plus. But let's get down to some other issues. We're going to keep this short, sweet, and to the point for 2021. Improving your travel videos, of which I have shot hundreds and hundreds and thousands of clips with this particular Android smartphone. The number one tip that I have is framing the shot. A lot of people just tend to walk and they'll capture a scene or whatever walking along, and it's nothing particularly interesting going on within that shot. It's the artistry of videography is trying to find things unusual and things that may deviate slightly from the main topic. Say my recent trip to Tijuana, walking along the Tijuana boardwalk in front of the beachfront homes and houses and stores there. And I happened to notice while I was shooting up into the hills that there was a cat walking between floors of the building. Things like that add interest to your videos. And it might veer off subject slightly, but it's a little piece of life there at that moment that really gives people joy when they see it. Think about framing your shots and what you're trying to convey. It's very difficult traveling to New York City. Everybody knows what New York is like, right? Let's take the camera, go around down. You've got to compose. You've got to be like an artist and compose your scenes with a lot of interest. The number one other big problem, there's a few of them here we're going to tackle, is panning your camera. It's almost inevitable when I look at a lot of travel videos, and I tend to shoot with one hand here to hold steady and to keep level on the camera, but you'll see a lot of people do this. You know, they'll be shooting this way, and all of a sudden something's over here that catches their eye, and they'll whip the camera around. Not a good move. Thing is, when you pan, you want to pan very slowly and very carefully, because the eye, the human eye and the brain cannot process the information as quickly as you think that they can. And that panning motion, it just creates a jarring sense within the videos. The number one problem above all else, and I know I've talked about framing, I know I've talked about the panning, but stabilization. Okay, stabilization is key. And in the early days when I had the S5, the Galaxy S5 from Samsung, I noticed just walking or doing anything with the camera was it just created that shakiness. on screen. Well, we're not creating the Blair Witch Project here, are we? Where people fled from the movie theater with motion sickness. The key is, if you don't have a smartphone, Android, iPhone with stabilization on it, there's nothing wrong, as you see in many of my shots, where I will set the camera down on the tripod legs and I will do still video there. No jarring, no nothing. I still get my scene, but I have none of that jarring stabilization issue that can be so irritating when you are watching videos. You need to eliminate that at all costs. And a simple travel tripod, which can fold up to about 14 inches and just go on a backpack or slung around your shoulder, is a great device to have. Get used to using it. It is your friend. Okay, so stabilization. Sound, another big issue. Sometimes the wind is out, and we know that wind wreaks havoc with smartphones and iPhones, and it's always going to be an issue. So you might want to be careful on those days that are windy and the wind's up. You may want to just turn down the volume on your video and just slap up some music to it so you still capture the scene. That wind noise can be very, very disturbing when you're trying to enjoy video. So if it's really bad and it's really annoying, make sure to take steps to mitigate it. And a lot of times you'll see me, if it's windy and beach, I will just take the volume to 0 or mute the volume, and I will add a music track to that. Which brings me to the next thing. Music, and editing, and putting that music in, and putting the music in that's going to fit the scene. Down in Tijuana, strolling along the beach or whatever, you don't want to hear rap music, LL Cool J, MC Hammer. It doesn't fit the scene. You have to select music that works, and sometimes that means subscribing to a music service. Like I subscribe to Epidemic Sound, $100 a year. I can go by genre, Latin. I'm all set. I don't have to worry about copyright. Over. Don't have to worry about any issues like that. And using music is a great way to enhance mood. Try to cut your video to the beats on the music, and it turns out really nicely. The last tip, and perhaps I should have called this the most important one, is people make video. Okay, so if you can capture street scenes, people love to watch what other people are doing, especially traveling. They're curious about how other people live. If there's a gal's cutting up coconuts to make drinks, to make alcoholic beverage, make the coconut shell a holder for it, you want to see that type of thing. If there's a mariachi band playing, you want to kind of feature them, okay? People strolling along, these slices of life. People are a great thing. A lot of us are hesitant to put people in because we don't want to offend people. But let me tell you, when you're walking around with one of these, the chance to offend anybody is pretty darn low, no matter where you go. Well, those are my best tips for improving your travel videos with your Android or iPhone. Your comments and questions are welcome down below, and I hope you'll take a second to give me a thumbs up. Thanks, everybody, and get it out and use it. You got the best production and videography studio in the world right in your hand. Thanks, everybody.